Well, good morning, friends. I hope you're doing well. It is Tuesday, May 5th. May the 5th be with you. No, just kidding. Uh, Cinco de Mayo, Mexican independence. So for them. But also, as a friend of mine pointed out, it's a Tuesday. So if you celebrate Taco Tuesday, then it really gets to be Taco Tuesday because Cinco de Mayo. Yay. Yeah. Okay. So I've already kind of taken a look at our card for today. So I pulled up our Four of Swords. So this is the the Prisma Visions deck. And so what we have here is we have a person, they're just kind of, chilling, sitting in the snow. They're not doing a whole lot. They're watching as the air goes by. It's wintertime here. So if you've ever been out in the snow, it's fairly quiet. Snow muffles sound. And so it can be very peaceful to be out, just sitting out in a snowy path. And with the Four of Swords, so there's not really anything happening here. It's an indicator of rest. Might even be like integration and harmony. But there's also a sense of focus. So 3 swords have been set off to the side. Either they will be used in the future, they're there for future use, or perhaps it's, something that's not needed. So they're just kind of like, all right, I don't need these anymore. But I've got this one, this super awesome fancy sword, and that's where the focus is going. So it's still looking at, what's to come, the path ahead, thoughts, mindful action, inspired action, things like that. But this is a card that's inviting us to still find that place of peace, of calmness, of getting yourself ready before you just go charge on into whatever is going to happen next for you. Yeah. So we have some other things to, I'll kind of chat with you about with this one. So we have this sense of the awareness of what's happening on the outside. So with this card, we have these, the air moving and this starry sky, but then there's also snow. In the more traditional decks, there's a person, might look like a knight who's lying down, might have one sword in access, and then the other ones are hanging up on the wall, just kind of indicating that it's like, okay, those are there. But it's still very into talking about our thoughts and finding a meditative space for before going forward. So it's that invitation to rest. So, you've got to recharge your energy. And even if you're super productive and driven, make sure you take time to restore yourself, for both your mind, your emotional state, your spiritual state, your physical state. And because you've got to fill that before you have more to give it. And, even with dealing with a constant sense of stress and tension, it's really challenging on everyone. And so just, use this as your invitation to say, how can I step back a bit for some perspective? Whether it's a few moments of mindful breath, whether it's taking a day off, whether it's somehow integrating a break of some sort into your schedule. But also, even while you're in this state of rest, you're still going to be aware and focused, and you're thinking about what's going to come. But it's coming from a very peaceful and tranquil place. So it's like if you were going to imagine going on a meditation retreat, or maybe it's a yoga class, and you're at the end and you just let all of those thoughts just kind of fall away. So it's a way of decluttering And then you can kind of figure out with your own situation, kind of like, how are you going to, navigate what comes next? What are you going to, how are you recovering from, anything that with things that have been painful? So the card before this one is the Three of Swords, which can be like, heartbreak and pain and conflict. Just, it's super ouchy, just, So with this one, like getting to look at like how you can ground and, just kind of listen to your sense of inner strength and confidence. And it's, even though it's this mindful state, an invitation, there's still a very practical sense to it. Like, this is a great time to reassess your priorities. If you've met like a milestone for something, and so it's a good time to kind of be like, okay, so this worked well, this didn't, and then kind of filtering out the things that you're just gonna not worry about right now, and then get yourself well resourced for whatever is going to be happening next. And like, I would say, like, some people are experiencing our quarantine time very much as like a, some of it's a little more like yesterday, Four of Wands, where it's more like the pillow fort and, celebration and connection and that at home. Other people may be experiencing it a little more as a Four of Swords type thing, where it's that, you're taking this break, but with the you're utilizing this break with the intention of restoring yourself and making sure that you've got what you need to go forward. But it's still, there's, like I said, there's not a lot of action happening. But you want to make sure too that you're not getting like stuck in this state. So it's like, if you have this sense of knowing where you're going to go, like you've cultivated this for yourself, like, know that you will be able to just, act and make decisions and do your thing, regardless of what else is happening all around you. So in this card, we have all this colored air swirling around. And in the Rider-Waite deck, the person that's praying, there's a stained glass. And so it's showing like there's stuff happening in the outside world. But this person, this Four of Swords, participant, knows how to retreat when they need it and then come back out when they're ready to act. And this, it shows up in a lot of different ways. So this can be in terms of your job search, your finances, your relationships. So it's just that, like I said, pause, kind of take inventory of what resources you have around you, how to take care of yourself, have, whether it's a few moments or a few days or more, to just really slow down and relax and restore yourself. Because then you will have the energy to go back to, burning the candle at both ends. And so some questions that you could ask yourself with this card is, you can kind of think about, what would help you quiet your thoughts? Like, what are some things that you could do to quiet your thoughts? And then from that point is, then you can kind of think, what's your focus for contemplation? What is something that you want to give some thought to and spend some time being aware of? And then also looking at just, how can you rest? What can you do? What's the first little step that you can take to help you rest? And, this can be very challenging, because our world, even though we're in this state of are we in shelter in place? What are we doing and what's going on? And there might be this really big pull to get out in the world and to hustle and to do and create. And the thing that, might benefit you in the long term is actually taking a little bit of kind of a detox. And I don't mean a juice cleanse. Fuck that shit. No, but what I mean is really filter out the stuff that you don't need that's creating more stress in your life. If it means, removing Twitter and Facebook off of your phone, do that. If it means setting timers for yourself so you're not getting sucked into endless rabbit holes of being annoyed at people for posting conspiracy theories. Like, do that for yourself. And then also make appointments with yourself to check in and say, hey, how am I doing? How can I rest? It is your time to rest now. And make them appointments that you can't miss. So if it's like, okay, at 12 o'clock, I have 10 minutes where I am going to like turn off all of my devices and I'm going to eat something that I enjoy, or I'm going to, really savor my cup of coffee, or I am just going to sit in this chair and breathe. Whatever it is that makes sense for you, give it a try. Yeah. So it's a thing where it's like you can have this moment of being able to like get in this groove, and the more times that you find yourself in that place of being able to drop in and rest and restore is really going to benefit in the long run. And you create that ability to continue to find that space to be very calming. Even if you don't have a ton of time to, you're like, I don't have 45 minutes to meditate. It's okay. I don't either. I don't particularly want to sit for 45 minutes and focus on my breath and focus on trying to bring my thoughts back to the present, because that's exhausting. However, I do know that there are things that I can do to help me experience a similar type of state where even if I'm reading or I'm knitting or I'm doing some movement exploration or dance or things like that, or even just the walks around the neighborhood where I'm really open and looking at, all the neat things to look at. So those are all things that are part of my practice in terms of finding this place to kind of shuffle off the things that I don't need to drag around with me anymore, and then kind of where I'm going to potentially go next. So there's exciting stuff. So yay. So yeah, that was our card for today. So I'll give you another look at this guy, our Four of Swords. All the pretty swirls in the background, and, knowing that you will make progress and go ahead, but you got to rest. You got to take care of yourself, and you got to set down the things that are just not going to be useful. I mean, really, who needs four swords? You really only need one. Yeah. I mean, maybe two, but I would say one. Just pick a really good one and go for it. Have a good day. Thanks, friends.